I would say you're probably one of our oldest friends of the show. Frank Caliendo is here with us.
I thought you were going to say favorites.
No. No, seriously, you're definitely one of our favorites. But I mean, somebody that's been consistently coming on this show over the years.
This is one of the shows. I hate to cut you off on your show, but this is one of the shows that I would come in for. Well, I did. I came in early for the show, not just because I want to sell the Friday late tickets too. That's a big part of it. But you're one of the shows you can come in maybe 5 shows in the entire country. If that, where you can just come, hang out, do your stuff, sell tickets, whatever you need to do. But I would just come in, even if I was sold out, I would come in and do the show.
Not only that, but here's what you get. You get extra points, too. You put an ISDN line in your house before nobody had Zoom at the time and all that, and you were doing crystal clear connections from your house.
Right now, I have the Comrex, which is how probably everybody connects to stations.
You know what the Comrex means to me? It's a piece of equipment that I bring with me on the road when I say I'm going to New York this week, but I'm going to do the show from my hotel room, and I just don't do it. I just call it. It's not working.
His Comrex has some nice vacations.
Yeah. I mean, it never works for me. We went away one time just to the beach in Sarasota for a week, and I said, but I'll do the show. Because I rented like a little cottage. I'm like, I'll dial in and do it from there with you guys. First hour, bad connections. And I'm like, I just quit for the week right away. It just stinks. But I remember back in the day, we'd connect with you on the ISDN line, and it was crystal clear. It was perfect. And I hate doing phoners or any of that stuff, but that was different. That felt like you were here.
Yeah, there was the only difference is you don't get the eye contact. And when I do that with people now, I'll Zoom the video and then do the Comrex because that does sound like you're in the studio.
You care way more than most people.
I do voices too. So and sometimes the phone can actually hide it and make a voice better because it does that. It scrambles it just enough to what does that person actually sound like on the phone, and you wouldn't know, so your brain gets tricked a little bit.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
There is that element of the clear sound and sounding like. I think people. When you sound like you're in studio, and I am in studio right now. I don't want to make it sound like I don't want to. But when you're in studio, people feel you're local, and if you're trying to, sell something or whatever, it works better. I think.
It has been a little while since I saw you, but you look so skinny. You look great.
Is skinny the word? Just not as fat.
No, skinny. I would say you look skinny now. Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that.
Yeah.
My face is I still can't get my face thinner.
You're never going to lose. Your neck, it's not your face. It's your neck.
It's my neck.
Your neck is skinny. Your chubby cheeks. You're just going to have.
Well, there's still that. It's fun. When you see it on video though too. It's like it all mashes up into like a bulldog kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I look fatter on screen than I do, and I'm like I worked this hard to lose all this weight.
Yes.
And I'm still I'm 5'6". People think I'm going to be 6'3".
Right.
When I meet them, so then they meet me, they're already disappointed, and then they're like
tiny and skinny.
Yeah.
Do you know the Yankee pitcher David Wells used to play for?
Yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine, and he always used to get a hard time for being a fat guy. I've seen Wells almost 90% naked, and he's not fat at all. He wore a big loose uniform, and he was a big guy, and he liked to have a size like 2 sizes big on his uniform, so he got a reputation for being a fat guy. But he's not fat.
I would have said he was. I would have thought he was fatter.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, you still playing table tennis?
Yeah.
How are we ranked? How are we doing?
Same. I don't play in any tournaments. No, because I hate being beat by 15, 13, 12-year-old girls. I mean, I just get destroyed. And then their dad wants to take a picture with me because the dad heard who I was. They don't even know who I am.
Right. Do you find that's a good life for you? Like, because you got, you seem like very like normal guy.
I think I'm fairly
normal. You've done a lot of famous stuff, but you're still pretty normal guy.
I appreciate that. I don't know. I think you live your life pretty normally, don't you? I mean, you take advantage of certain things.
Yeah.
I take advantage of things when I can.
Yes.
But I try not to push it. But at the same time, I'm known just enough where people will give me stuff.
Yeah.
Like
you get free stuff.
That's always a key. I had a friend who played in the minor leagues years ago. I used to work in indoor baseball, softball batting cage, and he played in the minor leagues. And people would just give him stuff because he played in the minor leagues, and that was like my introduction to that. Like if you have any level of fame, people want to be a little piece of that.
Yes.
Even though it was a AA minor league player,
Still,
they're like, that's better than most. People want a little piece of that. So
I carry the guilt of when people give me stuff. I feel like this is not going to pay off for you.
I know. I tell them I'm not going to give you anything.
I feel like people are like, here's my shirt. I'm like, first of all, that shirt's not going to fit me. Second of all, I don't even like it, but I'll take it. You know?
Yeah, it ends up at Goodwill or something like that a lot of the time.
I feel terrible.
Everybody wants to give me gear. I got gear for you.
Gear, yeah.
Maybe I'll give from a Morgan Freeman voicemail or something. And that's when they realized they just called Mike Calta's house. Those kind of things.
We still battle with our Morgan Freemans trying to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So every once in a while I'll watch Shawshank and I'll be like, and it was my friend. And my wife and I go, listen, come here, I got it. And I was wondering, and she's like, "Ooh, Forrest Gump, you nailed it."
It is so. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Have you worked on anything? I'm sure you have, but what new that you do?
Yeah, there's always stuff that I've been.
I mean, I love your Instagram videos. The videos you do where you say a line as all the different characters.
You really like?
I love those.
See, that's the interesting thing. I don't know if I can never tell because I don't really like anything I do. So I can never tell if it's going to hit or not going to hit.
Here, can I tell you what gets me is that all your impressions are good. So you have Robert Downey Jr. and Morgan Freeman. You'll go, and then when you start getting obscure, and you go and you do Joe Rogan, and you're like, Jamie, pull that up.
Wow, Jamie! Oh my God, that's effing nuts. That's nuts, Jamie, what the F is that?
That makes me laugh so hard because it's just so funny to just out of nowhere.
And it's always because there's only certain things I can say because I don't work on them a ton unless I know what I want to do with them. But it's those they're kind of instructional ones. Those are the ones that people seem to like, where it's talking about using your throat differently. The biggest one I think is the one where I take the Kermit the Frog. Hi, hello, Kermit the Frog here. So that's that nasal kind of voice. And then there's the Fozzie Bear, which is the throat. Waka waka waka. And then if you take Fozzie Bear and you bring it down a little bit, or if you take Kermit the Frog and you bring it down a little bit, it becomes John C. Reilly. Did you touch my drum set?
That's so funny.
And then if you put some air in it, becomes Mark Ruffalo. I see this as an absolute win. That kind of thing right there.
That's why I love when you do all I see, and I don't know, your videos are done very well. You and your daughter were great too.
I would like to get her to do more. She wants to be more behind the scenes.
But she's funny. You can tell she's reluctant to do some of the stuff, and
she's
it's funny.
Very funny.
Yeah.
When we were doing the Grudens,
the Grudens are great.
I tell you what, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man.
Dude, that was good stuff, man. This is Frank Caliendo, by the way. If you just joined, you could watch it, follow it on Instagram, see all his videos. I think they're awesome. This is a weird coincidence that this is like the third time that you've come here, where this weekend I'm going to Disney, where you are the one that elevated my Disney cost from $400 to $4,000.
But it's a much better experience.
It's a much better experience. It is. I'm actually not doing it this time, but it's Frank was the first person to turn me on to using the guide at Disney, and Loomis was your guy,
Sam. Yeah,
and he has been. We used him twice before, and he's been great. But you could see a whole. We went to the Disney Toy Story area the week that it opened, and lines were like 2 hours for each ride, and we saw the whole thing in 24 minutes. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we used to do it, but they changed the price structure of it over the years.
It's insane.
It used to be super, super cheap.
It was affordable. It was never cheap, but it was like I could spend $2,000 on
it's
that.
It was probably closer to what it actually costs now to regularly go.
Yeah.
But back then, the regular ticket prices weren't as high.
Right.
I mean, but that experience, the amount you could get done in a day was worth it as a parent.
Yes.
But we'd be running from ride to ride.
Right.
Like Sam would he'd like, we got to get there. We got to get all this stuff in, because he was trying to make it economical.
Yeah. He would, and you would leave one park and drive to the other park.
In the back
lot. I'll tell you, I was telling them the other day, we got out of the car first on arrival, and there's just people giving us chips and water when we got out. I'm like, we've already won. We've got snacks now, and we've got food. We've already beaten Disney. Yeah, we're going there. I have not been to the Star Wars section of Disney yet, so we're going to look at that this weekend.
Okay.
And I find now with an 18-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter, I'm the only one interested in the Star Wars land.
Yeah, Disney's interesting. I feel like Disney is that for the little kids and parents, and then as they get a little bit older, tweens to teens, then it becomes the Universal type of deal. That's and then as you get older, and you're a parent, it's that nostalgic Disney thing again.
Yeah, Let's go. We've done this. We haven't done this since we were little. Let's go back and do it.
And just to go back and have those memories of your kids liking you. Those are the best.
When they needed you.
Yeah, when my wife could tell them what to do and they would pay attention.
Yes. Although I will tell you, Gio and I have the same age son graduated high school this year, and I was saying this on the air the other day. My son and I talk to him, text me every night before I go to bed, good night, or I'll talk to him and he'll text me. Like, we have a great relationship.
My son and I do too.
Yeah,
it's a different relationship.
He's the one I thought I would lose.
Yeah, I'm almost at the point where I want to push my son out a little bit more, but then at the same time, I go, I don't want to lose this because I don't have that with my dad.
Yeah,
my dad, totally different kind of relationship. So I love the relationship I have with my son, but sometimes I'm like, you need to be out on your own a little bit.
What is your dad like? Stiff guy?
No, just my dad shows up to shows wearing a Frank Caliendo T-shirt, telling everybody he's my dad.
Oh, that's kind of...
Yeah, and doing his Donald Duck voice.
Right. Where do you think he gets it from?
Yeah, 100%. He signs autographs for people, and there's a charm to it when it's only once, but when he comes to 4 shows in a weekend,
right.
Like the club in Milwaukee is literally a mile away from the house I grew up in.
Okay.
He will be there all the shows, signing things for people.
Oh, that's funny.
Selling merch for himself, I think. Frank's dad merch.
Frank's dad merch. He doesn't make his own shirts.
Yeah. I mean, he takes it very seriously. Almost as seriously as he takes his softball.
Did he know? Like, when did you start doing voices? Comedy first or voices first?
It was. I went to school for broadcast journalism,
right?
And at UW,
which, as
Milwaukee.
we all know, is a garbage.
Yeah, well, I just didn't know what to do.
Right.
So I did that, and then I tried some stand-up, but it was really working the voices in. It was different. When I would watch people do impressions on TV or whatever, it was always this horrific setup. There was no writing involved.
Right.
So what I tried to do is take what was hot at the time, basically the observational type of comedy, and turn that into an impression bit. So my bit would be Al Pacino yells for no reason. So take that truth, and now somebody should cast him as a librarian, just because that's what they would do. So he's just yelling, "Where's the B section?" That type of thing. So it's like, take the reality. Or Pacino, my take on him was always, as an actor, they teach you to be curious and amazed by stuff. You don't know what's coming, so you have to pretend. That's the pretending part. Well, Pacino would take that to another level, where somebody turn on a light switch. Wait a second. You flip a switch over there, and a light goes on over there. This is sorcery. So it was that, and then it would call back to the yelling in it. So there was writing involved,
right.
And that was my real take on it. So that's how I started doing. My first impressions on stage were old school hacky, like a Jack Nicholson. I remember going, "This is gonna be fun."
Right.
That kind of
everybody
thing.
does.
Yeah, it was a Reverend Jim from Taxi. Boss, but I also added the Tony Danza and Latka Grabbit. Thank you very much. So I'm like, at least there's some innovation. And Robin Williams was a big one that I would do. Oh my God, who knew? And people are like, that's the best impression I've ever seen.
When somebody does a bunch of impressions, you can kind of hear the derivative in each one. You don't have that. Each one is so...
Well, some of it, I think I still hear some of it, and when they're newer, I've just done some of those for 20 years, 30 years, and after you do it for a while, you eventually get your voice out of it if you want to. The odd thing is people will hear other voices in my voice. So people will hear me say something, they're like, "Are you being Paul Giamatti right now?" I'm like, I don't believe I sound anything like it. Wait a second. Is this Paul Giamatti or Heath Ledger's Joker?
Who do you walk around the house doing? Like, I know when I get stuck with something, I can't drive my wife nuts.
I don't know if there's anything anymore. If it's new, that would be when the last one I could think of was probably probably the Robert Downey Jr. because you're just always going to belch out a line, that type of thing. That was, I wasn't even trying to do it there. That was going to be a Seth Rogen. I didn't even know I did it. So those, when they just pop in, but that's kind of what my act has become too, is just that, if I hear something starting, I go with it.
Right.